Welcome to Bay Rats and Buoys with your host, Captain Gaige.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. I'm your host, Captain Gaige, and Happy New Year. Happy, healthy, and wealthy. I can't believe it's 2025 already, but I can. This is episode 14. So 14 weeks ago, I started sitting on my boat producing this podcast, and you don't know where things are going to go when you start producing and doing stuff. You get the creative juices going and you're having fun doing it, but you never know where it's going to end up and where what the end product is going to be. And like right now, I'm sitting in the studio as opposed to sitting on my boat, and we're designing a set and doing all kinds of cool stuff in here. So right now, this is the in-between stages as we grow. So 2024 was an amazing year. And we know 2025 is going to be an epic year, not only for Bay Rats and Buoys, but for the boating industry in a whole. Because of the technology that's coming out, guys, it is going to be an insane year for anybody that has a boat and is into boating or wants to get into boating. So we told you in the last couple episodes that we were going to drop some big news, that we have some real great stuff to share with you guys, and I'm bursting at the seams. It's been a couple of weeks now that we've been planning stuff on the back end, whether it was the marketing, whether it was design, but there was a lot that had to go into this before I could announce it and make it official. But it is official. It is happening. And Bay Rats and Buoys will be podcasting live from the New York Boat Show at the iconic Javits Center in New York City, January 22nd through the 26th. This special podcast series will bring you right into the heart of the biggest marine event of the year, and I'm super excited to be hosting it. It's going to be a great time, and like I said, we got 3 weeks. We're still preparing. We have a lot of stuff to get prepared, but for the most part, we have, I want to say 75 to 80% of it already wrapped up and done, ready to go. So big shout out to Corey Customs. You know, Corey, my mate, he's actually making some really cool stuff, some nautical things that we're going to bring there. The booth is going to look awesome. I'm super excited. Big shout out to Dean and James over at Idea Stream Marketing. Got to give them a big plug because they've been super helpful along the whole way. And if you guys need any kind of marketing, whether it be a website or SEO or anything that you're doing that you need any kind of marketing, you reach out to Idea Stream Marketing and contact them at the bottom of my website at sandcitycharter.com. So a big thank you to those guys. Big shout out to Nick at Volpe Marine. We got a lot of things going on, and every week, guys, I'm going to be giving people plugs and shouting out. And speaking of shout outs, I got to give a big shout out to Colonel Sandy, retired Air Force pilot, and he is absolutely an avid fisherman from Long Island, and he just did an awesome post. We sent him a couple of stickers. He's already got them in his office, and he made a really cool post on Facebook. So that's another thing, guys, with the social media. You know, that's how I'm in touch with a lot of people because of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. I mean, at the boat show, we'll be doing TikTok Live. We'll be doing Facebook Live. We'll be on YouTube Live. So we're going to be doing so many things live there. But we're also going to record and edit some of the stuff when we work with some of the manufacturers and get some of those exclusive interviews out. So if you guys can't make it to the show this year, or even if you're going to the show and you get a ticket, you're going to be there for a day, we're going to be interviewing the manufacturers and the guys behind the scenes that make the stuff and are experts in the field of all the new technology that's coming out. So we're really excited, and I'll go over a whole list of that stuff with you here in this podcast. Really cool. But what I'm getting at on social media, guys, is head on over to Facebook. I'll put it up here on the screen so you see the name and the way to spell it. And go follow me on Facebook. Hit me up with a friend request because then you get to see some of the posts and all the stuff I'm talking about. You could go to Facebook and type in Bay Rats and Buoys. Follow that page now because now we created all different pages and everything just for Bay Rats and Buoys, so it won't be all going through Sand City Charter, the mother company to Bay Rats and Buoys. That's my charter business, and that's really how Bay Rats and Buoys was born. So Bay Rats and Buoys owes a big thank you to Sand City Charter for all the time and effort that we put into this podcast to create it. But now it really is growing into its own, and we do want to grow the social media for Bay Rats and Buoys. And I'm going to ask you to go ahead and hit me up with a friend request. Hit the Bay Rats and Buoys page on Facebook. Hit that. Give that a like. Give that a follow. We're going to ask all our loyal listeners to head on over to YouTube and hit that subscription button. We're growing that organically. As you can see, the videos are starting to get more and more views on there. And come the boat show, it's just going to blow up because not only are we going from local, but now we're going national. And thanks to Facebook, even in some of the Facebook groups that I post this podcast in, I have awesome conversations with guys in other countries. I can't begin to tell you. I can't even pronounce some of the names. But one of them I was just speaking with recently, Rudiger from Germany, and he was using Google Translate to have a conversation and wants the podcast in his Facebook group and was super cool about it all. And it's stuff like that I'm so grateful for. You don't even realize when you're producing and doing stuff, where it's going to end up and where it's going to go. But the boat show is not just New York City. That is a national show because the brands come in from all over the United States, and that's what's so cool about this. So this spawns off into so many different things for us. Super exciting. Well-deserved. We put a lot of hard work and effort into producing the show and doing stuff, so I can't wait to show you the set and all the stuff that we designed and the stuff that Corey is working on at Corey Customs. He finally finished my hockey stick gaff. That's exciting. Speaking of hockey, I was on the ice yesterday with the kids. So this time of the year, the holidays are the best time to spend time with the family, vacationing, friends and family throughout the holidays, to get-togethers and all that stuff. So I just love doing different stuff with the kids. In fact, on Facebook, my resolution was that I am going to play more ice hockey this year, and I'm definitely going to do a little bit more golfing. So super excited about spreading out my time because I do spend a ridiculous amount of time on the water. And that time on the water was well served this year. So I got my upgrade in my captain's license, which I mentioned in last week's show. And it's pretty cool. Different pamphlet. It's not the passport book. So any of you guys that, had to renew, if you're in that stage of renewal, it's not a passport book anymore. Now it's a single page, and you can keep it in that single page format, or they show you in a diagram in a separate page. They send you how to fold it up, which you can see in a photograph that I put up on the screen. I folded it up. It's a little bit bigger than the passport, but it's a lot thinner, so it'll fit anywhere you need to keep it on your boat. Anyway, so that's pretty cool. So the time on the water for me, it's sea service. The sea service time is, always upgrading because I'm a commercial tow captain, I'm a charter captain, and I'm on the water so much. So when I say I want to go play some ice hockey and golfing, I got to divert some time to do some different stuff this year and really enjoy myself. Because of all the hard work that I put into this, it's paying off and a lot of fun. And I really I have to thank you guys because it's the loyal listeners that reach out, and I'm always going to give a shout out to Frank. Frank's awesome. He always writes stuff. If I ask a question on here, he's the first guy to respond to it. And when you have loyal listeners like that, it's great to mention them on the podcast and in my fishing reports that I still do weekly for the magazine, for the Fisherman Magazine here on Long Island, the Metro edition. And that's exciting too. That's a lot of fun. I have fun doing those. I love sitting on the boat and telling people what's happening in my area. I'm not afraid to divulge any information. When the bite's red hot, I'm going to tell you. When it sucks, I'm going to tell you. We try to keep it real. And that's Bay Rats and Buoys. That's what it's all about. It's creating a really cool fishing and boating community. And that's what it's all about. And I love it. We're out in the bay every day. That's why we called it Bay Rats and Buoys, because everybody in my area goes and fishes 11B. So everybody knows the 11B can. They know the OB can. They know the triangle, the Eaton's Neck triangle. And there's so many different cans that everybody heads out to, whether it's the 32A or, going to different reefs. But everybody makes a reference to a buoy. And that's where the buoys came into. And that's why I'm thanking Nick at Volpe Marine. And I'll tell you more about that as we get closer to the boat show. In fact, Wednesday the 22nd will be our first podcast. And I'll do a little behind the scenes at the boat show to kick it off and to show you guys some really cool stuff, because the boating industry is on a cusp of a technological renaissance, and 2025 promises to be a landmark year for recreational boaters. The equipment and the technology that comes out this year and showcases is going to blow you away, and I'm super excited. I think I'm going to say I'm more excited about the underwater exploration tech that we're going to get to see at this year's show, but forget about it. You got the electronic and the hybrid propulsion, so you're going to see all kinds of new engines this year at the show. You got smart boat integration, where you see guys pass you in the channel in the harbor and he's standing on the bow of the boat and you're like, the guy's not at the helm. I mean, you're like, what a moron, what a Googan. Meanwhile, he's holding a remote control in his hand because he's got smart boat integration on his boat, and he can control his boat just as good as you can from behind the helm with a remote control. And not only remote control stuff this year, you got autonomous navigation systems. So you're going to have AI meets GPS on the navigation systems, and it is just going to be a game changer for everybody. I captain Eric's boat, and that's a 380 Outrage. I'm going to put his video up this week on Facebook and on social media. It's going to be hysterical. I've been talking about it for a long time, but this week I'm putting it up. Eric, it's 2025. We're putting that video up, and the reason I mentioned that is because he has some augmented reality displays on his boat where it projects onto the windshield, and that is going to be a game changer. I know Ray Marine is really leading the way in some of that technology, and we'll see that. We'll see more of that at the boat show, and hopefully I'll be able to get some of the techs on the show to talk about it. And that's really why we're going to be podcasting live, is to bring you guys more and up close and personal information from the guys that are behind the scenes, not only creating it, but are experts in the field, and really going to be able to show us guys that have older boats how we can integrate the newer technology onto our older boats. And, I just can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Then you got the enhanced safety features that are on the boats. So there's so much going on this year that it's going to make the marine industry safer, more efficient, and more eco-friendly. And I think that's where the boat show is going to be geared towards this year. And I'm just, like you can hear in my voice, I'm super excited about the whole boat show process that's going to go down this year and to be a part of it. And we're working real hard on the back end, guys. I already got my cue cards with my questions for the manufacturers, for the interviews. We're going to be doing exclusive interviews, and I already have my questions written out. So, I got to be really, really on top of my game here. It's not like I'm doing everything unscripted and raw here, where I sit down in a studio and just, talk to you guys for a half an hour or have guests on. So there's a lot of planning going into this, and that's where I got to thank Idea Stream Marketing and all the guys that are helping out. Corey's Customs helping out, Nick at Volpe Marine. So, I really am super grateful to have the group of guys and the captains that help behind the scenes at what I do to get me to the level that I'm looking to take this. And this year, 2025, it's going from a local podcast to a national podcast. And I got to tell you, because of social media, it's already growing to the international level, where I'm already in 8-9 different countries. Last time I looked, it was 8, but I know it's been moved up. There were a few more, and I didn't even count them all and get into the statistics because I've been so busy with the preparation for the New York Boat Show at the Javits Center. Again, we will be there January 22nd to the 26th. Through the 26th, we'll be there all 5 days. And again, I can't wait. It's going to be super exciting, guys. So, the question to you guys would be is, when you go to the boat show, a lot of guys walk around. Like I ask people, hey, guys in my, my office here have boats. So I'll say to them, hey, you going to the boat show this year? And they're like, yeah, listen, you go to the boat show, you walk around, and it's like, all right, that's Mega Millions, that's Powerball, and you have these, you see these $1 million price tags, and, for a lot of people, that's not reality. And yet you see guys sitting down at the tables with the brokers And they're working out deals, and I got to get the brokers on the podcast to talk about, because you go to the shows and you see these big new Grady Whites, they're all spoken for. You see the sold signs on them. They're already sold. And, to find out what the waiting time is, even for some of the manufacturers in the new boats, I know guys that have done custom build-outs, it's a year and a half out. And I think that's a pretty good time frame. So it's going to be exciting to hear all those small details from the guys. And I can't wait to talk to the local guys, the Long Island manufacturers, even like a Steiger, Steiger Craft. We have these local manufacturers right here on Long Island. So that's why I say it's local and it's national. Then you got your yellowfin, your blackfin, and all the different manufacturers that come in, and all the pontoons and the wave runners and the Fish Pro technology that they have on the wave runners now. And I have friends that have them. I think they're really cool. That's just, I got rid of my kayak. It was a lot of work, and I've had wave runners in the past, and, it's something that always broke down. I'm a commercial tow captain. Do I tow a lot of them? Yeah, Listen, you got a jet engine and you go close to the rocks. You suck a rock up into that impeller, and you're going to need a tow. It just happens, and it's, again, it's human error. It's not that if they stayed away from the beach and didn't go into shallow water with the jet ski, it wouldn't happen. So it's not blaming the jet ski. It's not the jet ski's fault. It's usually human error. And I had one. They did break down, but now they got brakes on them. I see guys going 75 miles an hour, and they slam on the brakes before they get to a bridge on the South Shore, and you're just like, no way. I mean, it's amazing. So the technology is just, we all say we were a lot freer when our phones had wires attached to them. And now that we have a phone, we're less free, and how true that is and how technology is changing stuff. But I think the technology in the maritime industry is a necessity. I really do. I think the cameras now, the new Garmin cameras, are insane. And what they do on a boat to help the guys with the bigger boats and the Vikings and just larger vessels. And it's just really cool. And I'm going to go over all the technology, guys. I mean, I have lists and lists. So every week we'll go over a few things. This way I don't just bore the boating guys, because I know I got a lot of fishing guys that listen to the show. You still got a lot of fishing going on the South Shore of Long Island right now. I mean, there's fishing going on all over the world. So I'm in all the Facebook groups. I tell you that every week. So if you're in the groups with me, communicate. Shoot me a message. I'm always happy to talk and bullshit and talk a little fishing with you. Talk a little boating, whatever you want to talk, I'm down. It's just like when we go to the marina and we stand around with Frank and Chris and Big Joe, who I can't wait to see at the fishing shows. We have a lot of great shows. There's a couple shows coming up. January has fishing shows. New Jersey has one going on January 10th. We got them soon coming here on Long Island too. March, February, we got shows every month starting now in 2025. So I'm super excited to head on over to them. And my Yeti, I always have a Yeti cooler with me. And I got to tell you, my Yetis, I have the little one, and the soft one, and it's always filled with ice and water and Diet Coke and some cold drinks. And I beat on that zipper. And I beat on that bag for 3 years. I'm throwing that thing on and off my boat 7 days a week. It's going on, whether it's on the commercial towboat or it's on my boat. It's getting thrown around, filled with ice, open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. And it hasn't broke. And I'm going to give them some credit, And there's a ton of competition for coolers because the prices of them are just astronomical, which is why we would say to people, one of the jokes we have is, people will buy a Yeti cooler that's $350, $400 and put it on their boat, but they won't have a contract with a commercial tow company to get them back safely when their boat breaks down. And then when they do break down and they find out how much it costs to get them back, but they got the Yeti cooler. So that's just a tidbit of advice, hint, on the back end from a tow captain. It's something you can buy now. Buy it at the show. You're going to save a little bit of money. It's annual. So why buy it in June when you launch the boat? Buy it and save a little money at the show, and it lasts you all year. It goes to the following year, the day you bought it. It's an annual contract that you have. It's an annual membership. And I just bring that up because the boat show's coming up. It's 20 days away. And I can't believe that April 15th, I have a countdown on the homepage of sandcitycharter.com. And it says 103 days right now until April 15th. And I get excited when that gets down to 90 because then I break that down as like 3 months. It's 90 days. It's double digits. Right now it's triple digits. It's not as exciting for me. But I got 20 days until the boat show, so I'm super excited about that. And the preparation that's going on at the back end is pretty incredible. We're pulling off a lot of cool stuff. And again, you can hear it in my voice. You hear how excited I am. It's big news for us. We deserve it. We put a lot of hard work into it. And I say we because there's a team of people behind what I do. There's no production crew here. It's me and a GoPro right now. I even got new cameras for the boat show, which I'm not running right now because I'm working on the GoPro in 4K. Last week's episode 13 with Chef Rob was the first episode that I did in 4K. I was doing it in the 1080 format, just making it easier for social media because 76 or 78% of you watch this on your phones. And, you know, my kids are on their phones and the tablets at home. Me, I do a lot of stuff on the phone too, but I'm on the computer all day, all night. Minute I get up in the morning, I have my cup of coffee and I got to go edit and work on the website and, work on some of the production stuff that we do and working with the artwork and the teams of people that are doing stuff for us. So there's just a lot behind the scenes, and that's why I give shout-outs and thank people. And so the camera's going to be a couple of new cameras at the boat show we'll be using. I am working with them on the back end right now, working out any glitches, because whenever you use something and you're using it new and something happens, like the GoPro could shut off right now and say that the SD card is not capable of reading the 4K format. You never know what you're going to get hit with in the production end. You get a bad wire. You got a bad wire, what do you do? So that's why last week with Chef Rob, I was using my mobile setup even here in the studio for the interview, just to work out any kinks in the interviews like I did with Jacob, Chef Rob. I want to use the mobile setup, not the studio setup that I have here that I know is going to do a great job recording on the microphone that's all set up here every day. And we're going to redesign the studio for Bay Rats and Buoys now in 2025 for January as we produce and get ready for the show. So that's where we're at, guys. Super excited. And, I see the guys on the South Shore that are going out on the big boats and going fishing. I see guys posting pictures, catching a ton of fish doing the offshore wrecks. And that's just great to see. I even got invited to go ice fishing, something I've never done. I did write back, Captain Jim, I did write back and say when and where to your post, because you did ask me, are you ice fishing, or you in or you're out? I didn't know if that was a decision I had to make that day because you were going, or usually you'd call me on the phone. So I thought it was a post just asking me if I'm going to do it. And I'm willing to do it. It's just something I haven't done. So I would need somebody that has the gear, knows what they're doing, because I really don't feel like falling through ice, which I know is definitely an option for me. And not something I look forward to. I really like the warm water. Not a cold water guy, but I will jump into the cold water this April to do a little spear fishing for sure. So April 1st, that winter flounder season kicks off, and I think it's the winter flounder season. I know the fluke doesn't start until May, so April 1st, which is going to be great. I'm going to get the guys from the DEC on. I've already spoken to a couple of people, and we're going to get all the different maritime industry guys that are involved on the podcast to give you guys some insight and, the regulations and questions that I have that I see you guys ask all the time. And like a 28 to 35 inch striped bass, 35 had to go back. So that means it had to be 24 and 27 and 34 and 5/8. If it was 28 inches, that was a keeper. 27 and 5/8 or whatever the closest is, and the metrics had to go back. So getting them on here to explain that to everybody, because a lot of people have questions about that. And I get it. I do. And, That's going to be fun. So that's going to be not only at the boat show, but at the fishing shows. So expect to see Bay Rats and Buoys at a bunch of different fishing shows, at more international boat shows. We'll definitely be looking to head down south and grow this on a national level. And hopefully you follow along. So hit us up on YouTube. That would be the best gift you guys could give me right now for the holiday season, is head on over to the YouTube channel and help me grow that organically. Hit the subscribe button. Throw a comment down below. At the boat show, we know people are going to subscribe because we're going to be giving away prizes. And for everybody that subscribes at the boat show, there are going to be gifts. But if you go and subscribe now, I guess I'll tell you what. If you subscribe now, 20 days prior, I'll include you in the raffles that are going to go on for the subscribers at the boat show. We'll do something special for anybody that subscribes from now until the boat show on our YouTube channel, and I will post a prize in next week's podcast, episode 15. This is episode 14, the first one of 2025. I still can't believe it's 2025. I mean, holy cow, where did 24 go? That year flew by so fast. And I guess we say that every year. We really do. And, I like to tell guys when I was working at the Freedom Boat Club and the fishing clubs and creating, fishing competitions and doing some cool stuff. When the season kicks off, you really got to take those windows of opportunity. And for guys that are working, I understand. I get it. It's not like me where you're on a boat every day and you can just say, hey, I'm going fishing tomorrow morning. What are you doing tomorrow morning? I'm going fishing tomorrow morning. And the morning after that. And the morning after that. Or are we going to go in the afternoon? And we pick the best windows of opportunity because early in the season, you're lucky. I always tell people you're lucky to get 2 weeks of fishing in May because the weather sucks. And I say that in episodes too, that, the weatherman, it's a tough job. I wish I had a job where I could be full of shit 50% of the time and still get paid. And listen, it's just a tough, being a meteorologist is not exactly the easiest thing. And Nelson, I loved your comment saying that, Van Olsen in the Fisherman magazine does a decent weather report. And yes, some of them do. And I'm not saying that they all suck, but, just it's not something easy to get right. And I mention that to people often, is you got to be your own weatherman. It's good to listen to what they're saying, but, man, you really got to have the apps that are accurate and know how to get out and look at the weather buoys and see what's really going on. And, I'm going out either way. So I've been out there in 50-mile-an-hour winds because I got to pull boats off beaches that broke off their moorings and take them back in 7-foot, 6-foot seas. I mean, where it's crazy, crazy conditions. But that's what makes a captain and gives you that experience. So to go out fishing, am I going out fishing if it's blowing 50, 35, 25? Probably not. Probably not. Have I gone out when it's blowing 20 and the small craft advisories? Yeah, because I'm in an area where I could sneak into estuaries and back bays where I'm protected from the direction of the wind, and I'm up against land in shallow water catching decent-sized fish, having a fun day, and make something out of it. So the Windy app. I've mentioned that again, that I said with those episodes that I did where you should get the Navionics and you should get the Coast Guard app. I left Windy out of it, but Windy's another app, and I think I mentioned it in the episode after that, but it's one that I'll throw in there. All the apps you have to give you information to let you make a better decision as a boater is really important. Now, I have guys that hit me up and tell me, hey, I have a boat reservation tomorrow for the Freedom Boat Club. What are your thoughts on me going out? And they're asking me for advice, and pretty candid in my response, saying I wouldn't untie the boat from the dock tomorrow. It's not a day worth going, and or I tell them, hey, listen, stay in the bay. Shoot into Duck Harbor, go into Lloyd Harbor, hit some of the different harbors because the fish are there, especially early in the season. We have holdover fish everywhere in our area, and it's a ton of fun. I've caught 20 and 30-pound striped bass April 15th every year consistently for the last 3 years within 15 and 20 minutes of my slip. Okay, so there was no reason for me to shoot all the way west, and I was willing to. I was leaving one year going west, and I passed the fish to go fish. Sometimes I do it just for the exploration reasons. I love to go to different areas, and me and Corey, my mate, we don't like to fish in our area when it's just me and him. We leave, we get out of here, we go fish, west, we go east, we go every direction out there. We get out there sometimes. I have a good game plan. Usually the night before, I'm already mapping it out and saying, all right, here's where we're going to start. The wind's going to be out of that direction. When the wind changes to out of this direction, we're going to head over here. And, you see what the conditions throw at you. You get out there and it's too rough. You got to head back in. But you got to, make educated decisions out there and don't put yourself in harm's way, which the new technology is, that augmented reality displays is just insane what it puts up on the screen, and that's going to help people. The cameras that show you all the different buoys and the cans, and I'm not talking about FLIR, I'm talking about the new camera setups on the boats. There's so many cameras on the boat that help people dock the bigger boats now, and bow thrusters and computers, all. But they've been helping boaters for years. But now the technology is really, really computerized, which I got to say was a big factor in the decision-making this year to repower one of the towboats. And it happens to be my Zodiac that I drive. And, I love my boat. That Zodiac is probably, to me, the most fun you can have with your clothes on the water. It really is great. And, Mike was making some serious decisions based on the technology of computer-controlled, cable-controlled, and all the different, reaching out to people that had both and hearing the pros and cons from both. So at the boat show, it's going to be great to show you guys when I have them sit down on the podcast and we break it down with the manufacturer, with the expert on that engine and the controls, what the changes are, how they benefit us, the pros and cons of them. And, I can't wait to use it in the springtime. We got all new electronics. We got a lot of cool stuff happening. I'm super excited. But again, the underwater exploration tech for me is, live view. Rob's had live view on his Rodan unit for years. He's had live view on since it's come out. So that's no, side view, live view, 3D. All that stuff's been out for years, guys. But now there's game-changing technology that guys like myself are going to want to put and have installed on older boats. And I'm talking about boats that are 20 years old, You could have a 2000, a 2003, 2005, and hook it up with all the newest and latest and greatest. And it's a game changer. It's a game changer for fishing. I don't have it on my boat right now, and I still catch a ton of fish. So I've always said to Corey, I don't need it. I'm going to get out there. I'm going to find the fish. I know how to do it. But having the technology is just going to be a game changer. And that's, what this 2025, it's going to be an epic year for the boating industry abroad. And that's why I'm so excited to go to this year's show. It's a lot more than just walking around and saying, oh, yeah, I'd like to have that yellow fin when I hit the Powerball, because the boat's, a gazillion dollars. Expensive. It's an expensive boat, and that's what I talk to most people in the middle class go there, and a lot of them are dream boats, and you see the boat you get for $72 and $80 and $100,000, unless you're willing to take out a bigger note on a second mortgage and get a $500,000-$600,000 boat and pay that note. You see the different sizes of the boats that you have access to, and that's the reality of going to the boat show. But you got to take your shoes off to get on the big boats. We all know that. When you walk in, they want your email address. They want your information. They want to be able to communicate to you if you are a serious buyer. And you'll see. The boats at the boat show are going to be sold. It is an iconic boat show in New York City. And like I said, I try to go to it every year. But I only go for one day. When I worked it for Freedom Boat Club, yeah, I was there. I don't think I had to work it every day, but I did work, 2 or 3 days in the booth. And it could get boring standing around doing nothing. But podcasting, live, and always having something to produce and do at the show is going to be epic and a lot of fun for somebody like me because I'm really a hands-on type of guy, hitting the cameras, working the audio, getting stuff on the computer, getting it up on the internet, and getting it out to everybody. So if you can't go to the show this year, join us at Bay Rats and Buoys. I'd love to have you as a loyal listener because we're going to get you up close and personal and behind the scenes with what's going on at the boat show, where even if you're there, you might not get the intel that we're going to get out of the manufacturers and the experts and the exhibitors that are there, all local and national. So you're going to get it all in videos on YouTube, and you're going to be able to go home and watch it. So hopefully you'll tune in and check it out. We greatly appreciate all your support in 2024. You helped us grow this thing to the level that we're taking it to. It's definitely a next level in 2025, and we're very proud of that. I know I am. And I've already given a lot of shout-outs and thank yous to the guys on the back end that are helping me. I can't thank them enough. I really can't. And I appreciate everybody that helps out. I gave Colonel Sandy a shout-out. We gave Frank a shout-out. Germany, Brooklyn, you guys are big listeners. I can't believe the amount of listeners in Brooklyn. It's really cool. I mean, I lived in Sheepshead Bay, and I got to say, there's a lot of fishing that goes on in the city, the west of us. And guys, the water, the reports are out for the water quality in the Long Island Sound. You ever see those boats that the guys just pull up and you're like, oh, here they come. They saw us come over here and here they come, but you don't see any rods on that boat. You're like, all right, cool, they're not fishing. And they just reach into the water and they're taking water samples, and you see them scoop up water samples and do stuff. Well, those guys are grading the water quality in the Long Island Sound and in the bays and in the estuary, everywhere. And I see them all the time. And I'm going to consider them Bay Rats. You guys are actually Bay Rats because you're out there all the time. And we love you for it. But the reports, the Western Basin got an F. So you guys that are fishing Staten Island, Brooklyn, New York City, the waterways there got an F. And I think it was nitrogen and all these other, so I'd be able to read off of it a little more. And again, like I said, unscripted, raw. I'm not working off of any materials. I don't have my cell phone in my pocket. There's no teleprompter. Probably need one and have used them in the past. And man, you need a second person just to man the teleprompter. And forget it. Writing scripts and reading that, there's no need for it. But where I am in the East Basin, in the Long Island Sound, got an A. And midway across there, going a little further west of our area, they got a B. So it's almost like from the Eaton's Neck Triangle to all the way out east, that whole area got rated an A. And as you went west, the water quality diminished. And if you want to read more about it, it's definitely online. I'll put a link to the article in this YouTube channel. Okay, so down in the description on YouTube, I'll try to put a link to that. I will. I can put a link to it. There's no problem. I'll pull the article up. I know where I found it. And that's what I'm doing, guys. In my downtime, I'm reading all these articles, and as a captain, I'm just trying to better myself as a captain and learn more and more. I told you I'm a sponge. I love learning new things. That's why I can't wait to get out there and explore this year with more of the underwater exploration tech that's going to be available to us. And the spearfishing, I'm super excited. Jacob and Kyle and Chef Rob, the four of us are going to get together, and we're going to go out there and have some epic times to start the season off. We're all going in April. That water's gin clear. The fish are here. They're in the shallow waters. You go into 10 feet and less, and you're going to see them on the bottom, I guarantee you, because that's where the water's the warmest in the springtime, and they're just like me and you. We want to get out of the winter, out of the cold, You give me a 55-degree day and I'm doing something on my boat. I guarantee it. Even this time of the year, I can get access to it. I can get on it. And I just did the other day with my daughter. We went out there. It was 50. It was warm out. We went out. We did something, and it was pretty cool. But in the springtime, you give me some warmer weather, and I want to be out in the sun doing it. And the fish are no different. So getting to the fishing shows and learning how the fish migrate and where they go and what they're feeding on and the water temperatures. And you see that on the new technology. You get to see the thermocline. And, the guys that are tuna fishing, that's what they're looking for. They're using the high-tech equipment, and they're looking for the thermocline. They're looking for the birds on the radar, where, they change it from the weather radar to the bird radar, and they look for the birds working. And they look to get on the bait and find the fish, and you find the bait, you're going to find the fish. I say that in every episode. And hopefully it resonates, and hopefully people are like, geez, I go out, I look around, I don't see anything, and I don't catch any fish. And I know friends and guys that go out, and that's their problem. They go to the same spots every time, and they fish the same buoys. Got to change it up. So, 2025 starts with us dropping some really good news. And you can tell we're really excited to be at the boat show. I mean, I'm just overjoyed. And we closed out the year with Chef Rob, episode 13. That was an epic episode, and we start the year off with some good news. So the past 2 weeks, the holiday season, it's wrapping up now. It's over. We're moving forward. Guys, we're 103 days away from April 15th, opening season for striped bass. You guys that are going out on the South Shore and hitting the wrecks and doing the offshore trips and catching the sea bass and holding up some awesome catches. I love seeing it on Facebook. And it's awesome. It really is. I love guys that go out hardcore this time of the year. They're willing to bundle up and get out there and do it. Me, I'm going to wait for the warmer weather and target what we are good at targeting in our area. I do like trying new things. We're going to hit the river. I still haven't gone fly fishing yet. Unbelievable. I can't. Well, it's 2025. This is usually when I start to go. I usually don't do it when Corey went that first day. I usually wait for the colder weather. The fish are chewing. He didn't catch anything of any size. And I do wait for some of the bigger fish to start feeding. And I think I usually go in February and March are the 2 months that I like to do a little bit more fly fishing. But I could be busy with the podcast this year because things are really blowing up and ramping up in 25. So I see it on my schedule, and the calendar is really starting to fill up. So I'm hoping there's a couple of Tuesdays and Wednesdays I could shoot over to the river and do some fly fishing and get that in the wintertime. But if not, the countdown is real. It's on the homepage of sandcitycharter.com. I want you guys to head on over to the YouTube channel if you can. Hit that subscribe button, the notifications button. Anybody interested in a Bay Rats and Buoys podcast sticker? I think I only have 100 left. I started out with a box of 1,000, so we got rid of, I want to say, over 900 of them already. So all you guys, all the loyal listeners that shot us a message and wanted these, we really appreciate you. You guys are awesome. Hit that notification bell. Follow me on Facebook, guys. Send me a friend request. I got plenty of room there to grow. I usually kept it friends from high school, all of that, my associated guys from previous, industries that I worked in and whatnot, and, converting over to the maritime industry and doing stuff, it's really growing, but there's room to grow there. So that's why I invite you to hit me up with a friend request. I do check out your page when your friend requests me, so I am going to look at the profile, check it out, see where you're from, see what you're into, if you got any fishing pictures, if you're into boating, and if you're not and you're just following along on the podcast, that's cool too. But I do try to avoid some of the fake accounts that are out there, guys that haven't posted on their account in, months, years even. You get these bots, a lot of bots out there these days, so I try to avoid that. Just to give you a heads up, I try to keep it organic and real, just like myself. I'm 100% human on the mic. I'm not going to tap it. And what an awesome start to 2025, guys. It really is. We're on January 2nd. Every week, I'm going to try to get this podcast up and out on Thursday at 6 o'clock. So that's going to be the day that I release it because of New Year's and me having to come into the studio today to do radio show obligations that I'm contracted for. I am getting it out a little bit later. It's because of the holiday, so bear with me. I appreciate you. But it is going up tonight, Thursday. It's coming up, and I'm putting it up online tonight, and it will be out in the Facebook groups. There'll be a short report for the Fisherman Magazine, wishing everybody a Happy New Year, telling them that we got some big news in this episode, and this podcast follows that short report in all the Facebook groups. So if you're following along there, hit the like button, smash the like button, and throw a comment in there. If you guys are into fishing, just write "see" at the boat show. If you go into the boat show, hit us up and let us know you're going to be there. I can't wait to meet. We're going to meet so many people that we talk to because I know so many guys that go to the boat show every year, and it's hard to time what day you're going to go that they're going. I go on a Friday usually with the kids. I don't go on the weekend. The weekend it was packed, so I stay away, but I'm going to be there Wednesday, the 22nd, Thursday, the 23rd, Friday, the 24th, Saturday, the 25th, and Sunday, the 26th. So I'm going to be there 5 days, and that's just going to be awesome, guys. So come join us. Come say hello. Hit me up on social media. I love producing this podcast. I hope you guys are tuning in and loving Bay Rats and Buoys as we grow. Come grow with us. I love hearing the messages and getting the emails, so keep them coming, guys. Wishing everybody bent rods, tight lines, and a happy, healthy, and wealthy 2025. Let's go, guys. So thanks again for tuning in, guys. Captain Gaige signing off. See you guys next week. Over and out.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Bay Rats and Buoys. Be sure to visit sandcitycharter.com and follow Captain Gaige on all our social media channels.